Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome to today's reading from Ramayana, the story of Lord Ram. At the moment, we are going to begin the Kishkindhya Kanda. Thanks for joining. The spring beauty surrounding the lake Pampa awoke within Ram memories of his loving pastimes with Sita, thus intensifying his transcendental grief. Ram constantly thought of Sita and wondered if she was able to live without him. Ram bitterly lamented, "O Lakshman, it is now the month of Chaitra, and this lake is so lovely with its deep blue waters. This is the season of love, when all the trees become resplendent with blossoms, the petals raining down to decorate the beautiful green forest carpet. Without Sita, however, life seems meaningless. That which pleased me when she was present now pains me. When I hear the cuckoo's call, I think of Sita's sweet voice. When I see the pink lotus flowers swaying on the crest of the waves, I think of Sita's eyes. The gentle breeze reminds me of Sita's honey-scented breath. O Lakshman, the pain of this cruel spring is unbearable, for I can no longer bear to live without her. You should return to Ayodhya and serve Bharat while I stay here and give up my life." Trying to instill some hope in Ram, Lakshman replied, "My dear brother, there is no reason to suppose that Sita is not still alive. Wherever Ravan may be, in heaven or earth, within the ocean or the nether regions, we shall find him and vent our wrath. Give up this useless melancholy and fix your mind on finding Sita. It is by an earnest endeavor that we shall succeed, not by lamenting." Thus admonished by Lakshman, Ram gave up his depression. While conversing, they reached the vicinity of the Rishimukh hill. From a distance, Sugriv could see Ram and Lakshman approaching. Suspecting them to be the allies of Vali, Sugriv became very afraid. Then he and his associates quickly took shelter within the ashram of Matanga, which is protected by Rishi's magic spell. But in spite of such security, Sugriv was so restless and frightened that he kept wandering from one hilltop to another, unable to sit still for a moment. Hanuman then said to his distracted master, "You should give up this paranoia of Vali being a fickle-minded monkey. You hastily come to conclusions that surely will be rejected after more careful consideration." So between the conversations of Lord Ram and Lakshman, we just heard how Lakshman was reminding Lord Ram that there's no need to lament over what has happened, but instead we should make our endeavor in an earnest way so that we can go and find Sita. And similarly, Hanuman is telling Sugriv that you should not come to some conclusions that somebody is going to attack you or getting paranoid about Vali. Instead, you should have some considerations with a calm mind and think of your strategy of how to fight Vali. Sugriv replied, "Whether they are agents of Vali or not, these persons are certainly frightening. Indeed, these two warriors look like chiefs of the demigods and are armed with bows and swords. Certainly Vali is very cunning and has many friends. Therefore, I want you to find out why they have come here. Observe them carefully, noting their speech and their expressions. Find out who they are and what they want. If you purposefully glorify me in their presence, you shall be able to detect if they are friends or enemies." So Sugriv is asking Hanumanji to be the detective for him. As he also had the suspicious mind of a monkey, Hanuman concealed his real form and appeared before Ram and Lakshman as a mendicant. In other words, mind has been given the similarity of a monkey. So we all have got monkey minds. We have got fickle minds. And how can we make them calm and purposeful? It's only when we understand the real purpose of our souls and we understand the instructions of Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, and also Ramayana also tells us the instructions of the Lord. Hanuman concealed his real form and appeared before Ram and Lakshman as a mendicant. Then, after falling flat to offer his obeisances, the Hanuman said, "O great heroes, please tell me it is that such exalted personalities as yourselves have come to this desolate region. Your strongly built bodies indicate that you are warriors, although you are dressed as ascetics. My name is Hanuman, minister of Sugriv, who has been banished from his kingdom by his elder brother Vali. I am the son of Vayu. I can go anywhere and at will and assume any form that I please. Sugriv has sent me here to extend his friendship and hospitality." Ram then told Lakshman, "This Hanuman is a minister of Sugriv, the noble king of the monkeys, whom we have been searching for. He appears to be most courteous and speaks very poetically. In his eyes, limbs, and attitude and expression, there is nothing displeasing or duplicitous. He has depth, confidence, and power." So these are the qualities of Hanumanji, which Ramchandraji is telling Lakshman. Likewise, his speech reflects a mature unification of heart, voice, and intelligence. Even an enemy would be charmed by his words. "O Lakshman, please explain to Hanuman the events that have brought us here today." Lakshman said, "It is our good fortune to meet you. We have been searching for Sugriv and are eager to make an alliance of friendship with him. This is Ram, the son of Maharaj Dashrath, and I am his younger brother, Lakshman. Ram's father desired to install him as the heir apparent to the royal throne, but due to political intrigue, Ram was banished to the forest instead. Recently, Ram's beloved wife Sita was kidnapped by the Rakshas king Ravan. Overwhelmed by grief, we have been searching for Sita in the forest. While wandering here and there, we happened to come upon a fierce Rakshas named Kabandha. By killing Kabandha, remember we were reading about Kabandha yesterday, he was killed yesterday. In the reading, we read that towards the end of the Aranyakant. By killing Kabandha, we relieved him of a terrible curse. In return, while ascending to heaven, he advised us to make an alliance with Sugriv. That is why we have now come. We are ready to do whatever is beneficial to you and your noble king." As Lakshman described their plight to Hanuman, his voice and tear-filled eyes reflected his inner anguish. Seeing this, Hanuman replied, "Like you, Sugriv is also bereft of his kingdom and wife." So, as destiny would have it, the two kings are going to help each other. Lord Ram and Sugriv are both in similar situation in their lives. "I'm certain that he and his followers will help you in your campaign to find Sita. Please come along with me and meet Sugriv, for he has been very anxious to know the reason for your coming here." Saying this, Hanuman assumed his true form as a gigantic monkey. Then he took Ram and Lakshman upon his shoulders and departed for the Rishyamukh mountain. Upon arriving there, Hanuman went first to Sugriv and informed him of Ram's friendly intentions. Satisfied, Sugriv took the form of mendicant and went out to meet Ram and Lakshman. As he approached, Sugriv extended his hands as an offering of friendship. With great pleasure, Ram extended his hand in return and then feelingly embraced the monkey chief. Afterwards, to formally unite the two friends, Hanuman lit a sacred fire between Ram and Sugriv. After ceremoniously circumambulating the fire, Ram and Sugriv looked upon each other in a spirit of firm friendship. Sugriv then said, "My dear Ram, from this day on your happiness shall be my happiness, your sorrow shall be mine, and vice versa." Sugriv then placed a flower-laden branch on the ground for Ram to sit upon, and Hanuman did the same for Lakshman. After all were seated, Sugriv explained, "My dear Ram, I pass my life in constant anxiety because of my brother Vali. After Vali forcibly took my wife and kingdom, I took shelter within this forest. However, I am haunted by the fear that my elder brother may come here and attack me at any time. I do not know a moment's peace." Ram gently smiled and replied, "Service is the real fruit of friendship. Therefore, it is my duty to dispose of Vali and assist you in regaining your kingdom and wife." Sugriv then said, "Hanuman has told me about your exile and the kidnapping of your wife. As a friend, it is my vow to help you to recover her, whether she is in heaven, on or earth, or in the nether regions. O Ram, I am sure I saw Sita as if she was being carried away by the powerful Rakshas, crying out, 'Ram, Ram.' She saw me seated atop this hill with my associates and threw down her upper garment and some jewels, which we later collected." Ram was eager to see these articles and asked Sugriv to retrieve them. Sugriv then went to the cave he stored them in and brought them out for Ram to examine. Immediately recognizing the cloth and the ornaments, Ram cried out, "O darling, O dearly beloved." As tears fell from his lotus eyes, Ram began wailing pitifully and then lost consciousness. After coming to his senses, Ram said, "O Lakshman, these articles were worn by Sita. Do you recognize them?" Lakshman replied, "I have never looked at Sita above her ankles, so I cannot say whether the clothes are hers. But I do, however, recognize the ankle bells because I used to bow to her lotus feet every morning." Ram then inquired about Ravan, and Sugriv replied, "Unfortunately, I have not heard of Ravan. However, you may rest assured that I will help you find him. O Ram, you should not lament excessively for the loss of your dear wife. A person can never become happy simply by grieving. Indeed, such sorrow diminishes one's own strength and puts his life in danger. Although I am a foolish monkey and in a similar situation, I do not lament as much as you." Now, these are big words of advice coming from Sugriv to Lord Ram, that too much grieving actually takes away a person's strength. So hearing Sugriv's words, Ram became a little pacified. He then embraced Sugriv again, and the two sat together comfortably. When Sugriv brought up the topic of his fear of Vali, Ram said, "O Sugriv, rest assured that I will kill Vali this very day. First, however, I would like to know how such enmity developed between you two brothers." Sugriv replied, "It is only unto a true friend that one can fully vent his grief. As it happened, when my father died, Vali, being the elder prince, became the king of Kishkindhya, and I engaged in his service. Before this, Mayavi, the son of Mayadanav, had established an enmity with Vali because of a woman. Afterward, one night, as everyone lay sleeping, Mayavi came to Kishkindhya and challenged Vali to fight. Although his wives and I tried to restrain him, the enraged Vali rushed out of the palace to meet the aggressor. I followed my brother, and when the demon Mayavi saw us, he became frightened and ran away. When we gave chase, Mayavi entered a deep dark cave that was covered over by thick weeds. Vali ordered me to guard the entrance while he went into the cave to fight the demon. Thereafter, an entire year passed, and although I remained there guarding the entrance, I saw no sign of my brother. Suddenly, I observed blood mixed with foam oozing from the cave, and I could hear the noise of many demons, but not my brother's voice. I concluded that Vali must have been slain. I then blocked the entrance to the cave with a huge boulder and offered water for the benefit of my brother's departed soul. When I returned to Kishkindhya, the ministers installed me upon the royal throne and I began ruling the kingdom righteously. It came to pass that after some time and much to the surprise of everyone, Vali returned to Kishkindhya, having slain the demon. When my brother saw me seated upon the royal throne, he became enraged and immediately arrested the ministers, throwing them in chains. I could have fought with my brother, but out of respect, I bowed down to him and placed the royal crown at his feet, hoping he would become pacified. However, Vali remained angry and continued to severely abuse me. Then, calling together the leading citizens, he announced to all, I entered the bowels of the earth to kill the demon Mayavi, and it was only after searching for him for 1 year that I found him. After I killed the demon and all his relatives, the blood from their bodies flowed, practically filling up the cave and making it very difficult for me to get out. When I finally reached the mouth of the cave, I discovered it was blocked by a huge boulder. I called out for Sugriv again and again, but received no answer. Finally, I kicked out the boulder, freeing myself, and returned to Kishkindhya. Much to my surprise, I saw Sugriv sitting upon the royal throne. I could then understand that his intention was to shut me up within the cave to gain control over the kingdom. Thereafter, Vali took away all my possessions, including my wife, and banished me from Kishkindhya, leaving me with only a single cloth. Since that time, I have been residing upon this mountain along with my closest friends. Ram then said, My dear Sugriv, rest assured that I will kill Vali so that you can recover your wife and kingdom. Even after hearing Ram's assurance, Sugriv remained doubtful whether Ram was powerful enough to slay Vali. To further illustrate his brother's prowess, he told the following story. Once there was a great demon named Dundubhi, who wandered over the earth in the form of buffalo. Upon reaching the seashore, Dundubi challenged the ocean to fight. The ocean personified then appeared and said, O best of the Asuras, I am not a competent match for you. I suggest that you approach Himavan, the presiding deity of the Himalayas and the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. Thinking the ocean to be afraid of fighting with him, Dundubi went to the Himalayan mountains and began tearing down its peaks and cliffs. Himavan then appeared before one mountaintop and said, I am the shelter of great rishis who are non-violent and equipoised. I am not at all adept at warfare. Therefore, O greatest of the demons, please leave us aside and do not create any further disturbance. The angry demon then asked who he could fight instead. Himavan described my brother Vali, the son of Indra. Thereafter, Dundubi went to Kishkindhya and while bellowing loudly, he began tearing up the ground with his hooves, uprooting great trees and damaging the city's gates with his horns. Vali immediately demon to fight. After a brief exchange of harsh words, Vali grabbed Dundubi by the horns, whirled him around and dashed him to the ground, causing blood to flow from his ears. A fierce duel then ensued as each struck the other forcefully. However, after a short time, the demon began to weaken. Seeing this, Vali lifted Dundubi into the air and smashed him on the ground with all his strength. As blood poured profusely from every hole of his body, the demon gave up his life. Then Vali lifted Dundubi's body and hurled it 4 miles away. However, as the corpse flew through the air, drops of blood from its mouth landed on the ground at Matanga Rishi's ashram. This angered the great Rishi, who wondered who could have done such a thoughtless and stupid act. When Matanga came to know that demon had been killed by Vali, he pronounced the following curse. If that monkey ever comes within 4 miles of my ashram, he will instantly die. If any of his ministers come here, they will remain as statues for 1,000 of years. So Sugriv has revealed how Vali can be slain due to the curse by Rishi Matanga. Although Vali tried to pacify the rishi, he was unable to, and he has been afraid to approach this place ever since. Over there you can see the bones of the great demon. You can just imagine how powerful Dundubi must have been. How then you can hope to defeat Vali? Lakshman then laughed, realizing that Sugriv doubted Ram's ability to kill Vali. He asked, what feat could Ram do that would prove his prowess and set your mind at ease? Sugriv replied, once at this place, Vali pierced 7 large trees with 7 arrows. If Ram could split one of these trees with a single arrow and then kick the remains of Dundubhi a distance of 200 bows' length, then I would consider him a suitable match for Vali. Hearing this, Ram effortlessly lifted the skeleton of Dundubi with his big toe and sportingly flung it a distance of 80 miles. Even so, Sugriv said, when Vali threw Dundubi's body, it was heavy with flesh and blood. Moreover, he was greatly fatigued from fighting. Since the carcass is now much lighter, it is impossible to judge who is more powerful, you or Vali. At that time, Ram took up on his bow and I keep saying them the other way around. It is bow. Took up his bow and released a powerful arrow that pierced all 7 trees, entered the earth, went down to the bottom of the universe, and after 1 hour returned to his quiver. So Lord Ramchandra showed his might to Sugriv. Sugriv was struck with wonder. I think we should read this part again. Ram took up his bow and released a powerful arrow that pierced all 7 trees, entered the earth, went down to the bottom of the universe, and after 1 hour returned to his quiver. So who can do that? Only the Almighty. Sugriv reverently bowed at Ram's lotus feet. Ram then embraced Sugriv and suggested, let us now go to Kishkindhya. You should go ahead and challenge Vali, while Lakshman and I hide behind some trees just outside the gates. When Sugriv arrived at Kishkindhya, he let out a loud roar, challenging his brother. As Vali heard it, he immediately rushed out, excited with rage. Just like the sun emerging from behind a hill, in great anger, Vali and Sugriv struck out at each other with their fists. However, as Ram watched the fight, he could not discern which of them was Vali, for the 2 brothers looked exactly alike. Ram refrained from discharging his arrows, causing Sugriv to think that he was unwilling to help him. Indeed, Sugriv was getting the worst of the fight, and he finally ran away. Barely alive, battered and soaked in his own blood, as Vali chased Sugriv, he taunted, coward, run for your life. This time I shall spare you. Okay, I think we have done enough reading for today. We will continue from here onwards tomorrow. And it's so nice to clearly find out the story in its entirety and as it is. So Sugriv has revealed the weakness or the curse of the Rishi Matanga, how Vali is supposed to be slain, because he has been cursed by Matanga Rishi that if he comes within the 4 miles of his ashram, he will not live. So thank you for joining for today's reading. I hope you're having a nice Ekadashi today. Please join again with the reading. Thank you. Hare Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.